Breaking news. The Miami Dolphins are heading into the 2025 NFL Draft with a wave of uncertainty and the need for key moves that could define the next era for this franchise. Let's not sugarcoat it. This offseason has been a roller coaster of emotions. One moment, we're dreaming of playoff redemption, and the next, we're dealing with the reality that stars like Jalen Ramsay may be on the way out. Javon Holland is already gone to the Giants, and the offensive line looks more like a patchwork than a polished unit. I'll give you the lowdown on what's going on in a moment, and we have some big points to address, and this needs to be addressed soon. But before we go any further, hit the like button if you agree that Chris Grier should be fired. If you can, comment, "Goodbye, Grier." In the meantime, let's start with the elephant in the room, Jalen Ramsay. The buzz around him wanting out so quickly, especially after the departures or uncertainty surrounding veterans like Terron Armstead and the usual offseason smoke surrounding Tyreek Hill, raises serious red flags. Ramsay still has elite football in him, and yet here we are talking about a possible exit. It's unsettling. Add in the loss of Holland, and we're looking at a secondary that has lost its swagger, its leadership, and much of its playmaking ability. That brings us to the draft. Chris Grier and the Dolphins front office are staring at a board that must be navigated with surgical precision. Sitting at pick 13, the options are plentiful, but the margin for error? Razor thin. Do you swing for a high-ceiling defensive tackle to replace Christian Wilkins and solidify the interior next to Zach Sealer? Do you take the plunge on an elite cornerback like Will Johnson to plug the looming void Ramsay might leave behind? Or do you do the unthinkable and invest in the offensive line with a potential top-tier guard like Donovan Jackson? Let's talk about Will Johnson for a second. This dude is the most elite off-man corner in the draft. His tape is surgical. The instincts, the ability to read and react, the way he processes routes. This is the kind of player who thrives in today's NFL where quick decisions and smart coverage schemes win games. He's not the fastest corner on the clock, sure. But how many times are teams getting beat deep when everyone's running too high safety shells? That's right, almost never. The deep ball is becoming more rare, and you win with IQ and positioning now, not just straight line speed. On the defensive line, the name Walter Nolan keeps coming up, and for good reason. If you watched him at the Senior Bowl, you saw a guy who is damn near unblockable. He's got that rare twitch and power combination that lets him penetrate gaps and disrupt plays before they even develop. The off-field concerns? They're out there, but let's be real. This guy played completely out of position at Ole Miss. He's a 3-tech being forced to play nose tackle, taking on double teams like he's 330 pounds. That's not a lack of buy-in, that's sacrifice. Put him in a scheme that lets him attack, and you might unlock one of the most disruptive forces in this class.
Then there's Kenneth Grant, a total alien. His size-speed combo is outrageous. Imagine collapsing the interior of an O-line with one arm. He did that on tape against Washington. This guy has real pass rush upside and could be Miami's answer to Christian Wilkins, but with even more juice in the pocket. Now let's pivot to the offensive line, where things are, frankly, grim. Patrick Paul is a question mark at left tackle. The interior? Even worse. Liam Eichenberg and Larry Borom projected to start? That's not going to cut it. That's why someone like Donovan Jackson becomes so intriguing. If the top corners and defensive tackles are off the board, Jackson might be the best value at 13. This man was moving dudes like Derek Harmon with ease. He's got first-round tape as a guard, and some teams even think he could be a legit tackle. Plug him in at left guard and you stabilize an entire side of the line. What about the second round? Pick 48 becomes critical. If you don't take a corner at 13, you could be in no man's land when you're back on the clock. Savion Riley, Trey Amos, these names are rising. You don't want to be left hoping Benjamin Morrison drops because of injury. You want to be proactive, not reactive. Another name to keep an eye on? Jonah Savaiania. If he somehow slips to 48, he's a steal. But that's a big if. More realistically, you're looking at someone like Tate Ratledge, who's physical and has strong tape when healthy. And hey, Gray Zabel out of North Dakota State is one of the most versatile linemen in the class. He dominated the Senior Bowl, and he could play all 5 positions. You want flexibility on a banged-up line? That's your guy. Let's not forget the quarterback situation. With Zach Wilson as QB2 and no clear QB3, the Dolphins might dip into this draft class. Don't sleep on Jackson Dart. He's got legit first-round buzz. Quinn Ewers is another name connected to Miami. Apparently, Mike McDaniel was all over him at Texas Pro Day last year. The arm talent is there, but the pocket awareness needs work. If the Dolphins want a developmental project, someone like Tyler Shaw, who's had some injury issues but flashes big-time traits, could make sense on day 3. And if they want to get really sneaky, Riley Leonard from Notre Dame. He's raw, but in McDaniel's offense, with time to develop, he could be an interesting long-term option. And what about safety? That room is shaky at best. Javon Holland's departure has left a void, and while guys like Patrick McMorris and Ashton Davis are intriguing, Miami might want to make a splash here. Malachi Starks at 13? That'd be a bold move, but it wouldn't be a bad one. He's got elite instincts, ball skills, and versatility to play nickel, deep safety, or even match up against tight ends. Day 2 options? Xavier Watts, Kevin Winston Jr., and Andrew Mukuba stand out. Mukuba especially brings that dog mentality, that swagger Miami's secondary needs. He's a film junkie, a competitor, and he can cover just what you want in a modern NFL safety. So here we are, Dolphins fans. Chris Greer and this front office have 4 picks between 116 and 155. Every one of those is a dart at the board of the future. Will it be a developmental QB like Seth Hennigan? A freaky safety like Nick Emenwari? A day 3 wide receiver like Dante Thornton Jr., who brings rare size and speed and can block like a tight end? This draft is loaded, but make no mistake, the pressure is on. One wrong move at 13, and you're playing catch-up. One right pick, and you could be setting the foundation for a new chapter. Now it's your turn, Dolphins Nation. What do you think? Should we swing big for a corner like Will Johnson or lock in a future stud on the interior like Donovan Jackson? Are you on Team Walter Nolan, or are you dreaming of a Mason Graham miracle slide? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this draft isn't just about what happens in the war room, it's about the future of this team we all ride for. And look, if we're going to talk about building the future, we have to talk about how much the 13th overall pick is going to influence every move that follows. It's not just a first-round selection, it's the domino. If the Dolphins go with a corner like Will Johnson, they're probably not doubling back on that position until much later, maybe not even until day 3. That means the gamble is on Cam Smith to develop, or on depth pieces like Storm Duck or Ethan Bonner stepping up big. That's risky. But if they go defensive tackle early, Kenneth Grant, Walter Nolan, then it's on Greer to trust that they can snag a solid corner at 48 or later. But this is where it gets tricky. There's buzz of a potential run on cornerbacks starting late in the first and stretching into the second. Savion Riley's tape is turning heads, and guys like Trey Amos are moving up draft boards fast. By the time Miami picks again at 48, the shelves might be empty. Benjamin Morrison might be the only viable name left, and that's hoping his injury knocks him down the board. Otherwise, you're picking from a pool that doesn't really move the needle. This is why there's real merit to considering an offensive lineman at 13. Donovan Jackson gives you immediate help at guard, and if injuries strike again, let's be honest, they always do, he could kick outside to tackle. That's the kind of flexibility you need when your offensive line is made of question marks and medical reports.